This is the end of Antelope Canyon in the year 2024 at the lake's highest level for the year. The lake rose about 29 feet from the low up to the max for the year 2024. All right, let's surf and fly out of here.
Thank you for your time and patience. I was not expecting to be posting this video 1 month after the original ride, and after promising in my last video that I would be sharing my experience riding through the entire length of Antelope Canyon at the high water level mark of 2024. I knew there was going to be some conversation about the fact that this canyon is marked as wakeless and 5 miles per hour, and I wanted to talk about the unique operation of eFoils. Overall, eFoils should be operated in such a way that if the rider were to fall, they're not going to impact anyone or cause them to change course drastically. Normally, I would drop to my knees and ride on the surface when passing close, such as in this scenario. The 360 camera does make things look closer than they really are, and because of my camera gear in hand, I was more confident and comfortable just riding slow and low and in control. Up ahead, there's a family I talk about eFoiling with. If you'd like to skip the conversation and just see the action in Antelope Canyon, go to 3 minutes, 40 seconds.
So much fun. What? Yeah, it's got a remote, and then you might be able to see if there's a wing underneath the water like an airplane that creates a lift, and then a battery, and I press the trigger to make speed.
Oh, okay. That's how it works. What do they call those?
They're known as an electric hydrofoil surfboard. Or eFoil for short.
eFoil?
Yeah, E for electric and foil short for hydrofoil.
Okay.
So you got an aerofoil for airplanes.
Right.
And a hydrofoil for water.
For the water.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's a surfer, and so when I tell him I've been telling him.
Yeah, tell them to check out eFoil Lake Powell on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Okay. Do you sell those?
I affiliated with a company that sells them.
Okay.
So, Adventure Elevated.
Adventure.
Yeah. You can buy them direct from Waydo.
That is just so awesome.
So much fun.
Oh, it looks
So
like
peaceful, and it's easy on the knees because you're just flying and ride over everything and slicing through all the chops.
Right. And how about like when you encounter waves? How does it?
Because you're flying over it, you don't get the slap, but you still feel a little bit of a roll.
Okay.
But it's so smooth, it kind of flattens out the curve, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Instead of using that term for COVID, we're using it for flattening out the wave curve. So
that is just the coolest thing.
yeah, super fun.
Yeah.
Now I might put you on YouTube too, if that's all right.
Put me on YouTube?
Yeah, I was filming the canyon going out and it's still running, but.
Oh, sure. Okay.
All right. Well, that was fun. Time to fly out of here.
It's no secret that I thoroughly enjoy eFoiling on Lake Powell, and I love to share about these things with curious people that I pass while on my rides. I want to be a good advocate of eFoiling, especially on Lake Powell. I want to point out these kayakers here on the left. Their position marks the area where the low water mark of 2024 was at. So far, the length of the canyon that I've eFoiled is the difference that 29 feet of elevation gain makes in this canyon. I was able to go an additional 2 turns and 3 straight lengths on this canyon, which is just amazing. There's always something to enjoy and love and appreciate about Lake Powell at every water level. The topic of fluctuating water levels on Lake Powell, especially the lower levels that we've experienced in the last couple of years, brings me to one of the reasons I love eFoiling most and what makes them so unique. It is the fact that they are perhaps the most portable watercraft or vessel that you can buy. Yes, eFoils are considered a vessel, and if you haven't noticed already, there are registration stickers on the side of my eFoil. I can take not just one but two eFoils entirely inside a typical passenger car such as my Toyota Camry. And the ability to have that freedom to surf and fly, enjoying this fusion of surfing and flying almost any time, anywhere on Lake Powell, that kind of freedom is invaluable. And as you can see, I love to surf, and the quickest path to Zen is a surfy one. And so in this more wide, long, straight, clear section of the canyon, I'm absorbing some Zen and getting my surf on. But if there are any traveling boaters or people nearby, I will use hand gestures and ride more slow and straight and predictable so that we all know where we are planning to go in the waterways of the canyon. And if there are any approaching turns, I will take the turn wide and slow, low and in control, just in case there may be someone or something around the turn where you cannot see clearly ahead. In this case, where you can see that there's a tour boat on the left side. The debris on the right side of the canyon is mostly the consistency of sawdust, and so I feel confident riding through it. Nevertheless, it is a good idea to stay low and slow in case there is anything larger hiding in the murkiness of it. If you snag anything larger, you may lose a little bit of control and crash, and keeping your distance is important, or even taking to the knee. One thing about this canyon in regards to debris is it can change day to day, especially if the water level is currently rising or reaching a new level where it may be pulling larger debris in, or if there is a recent rainfall and flooding action that also pulled more debris in. So every single time you go into this canyon, it's a new adventure, especially in regards to debris. So the first time you ride through the canyon, or any canyon, you can ride a little bit higher until you see debris. This is going to give you greater visibility. So eFoils have this unique ability to rise up and down. And when we are riding higher, standing tall, we have greater visibility to see and to be seen than almost any other typical traditional watercraft. It makes it easier to spot hazards on top and below the surface and navigate around or above them. And here again, I'm taking the turn wide. Just wanted to point that out. Taking the turn wide is extremely important, especially in popular canyons like Antelope Canyon, maintaining visibility. So let's talk about wakeless. Wakeless includes three things. Obviously, going wakeless, and eFoils are wakeless, and I've had countless fishermen and people tell me how they love eFoils even though they've never tried one, because we are so quiet and we generate no physical wave that's going to impact anyone or anything in any negative way. Before anyone corrects me and tells me that a wake is further defined as white water and breakwater, allow me to tell you that someone once suggested to me that the spray behind my mast is considered a wake because it is white water and breakwater. Any narrow object, even at a slow 5 miles an hour speed, will generate spray in this way. And if we're going to follow the letter of the law and not the spirit of the law, then eFoils might as well be banned entirely altogether, because I will never leave the bay without creating a quote-unquote wake. The second rule is 5 miles per hour or slower. However, operating an eFoil at 5 miles per hour or slower can be very challenging and in some cases even impossible. Acceleration and speed is controlled via a handheld Bluetooth remote. Bluetooth signal is inhibited by water. If the board is submerging under the water because of the weight of the rider and insufficient speed below 5 miles per hour, especially for an advanced, smaller volume board, the rider will have zero control over the eFoil and will not be able to move at all. This is where and why rule number 3 is important to eFoiling. The third rule is the slowest speed at which a vessel may maintain control and steerage. And this third rule is what eFoils rely on most for their unique activity and performance. Foils are the most customizable watercraft or water sport there is. You can change the board size, the mast length, the propulsion type, and the wings Any of these changes can have a dramatic impact on the performance of the ride. A more advanced setup will have a smaller, less buoyant board and cannot support the weight of an adult rider at slower speeds. It will submerge, and thus it will lose Bluetooth connectivity to the remote, and there will be zero control over the watercraft. eFoils are best operated on foil or flying, which is a speed of about 10 miles per hour or faster depending on the circumstances. We will have greater efficiency, greater control, and better visibility to see and to be seen. Nevertheless, if it is congested, we may need to take a knee and ride slower, which may generate a bit of a wake. I will demonstrate this in greater detail on its own video later. All right, we got 7 miles round trip and half of the battery remaining, but we all know that most electronic personal electric vehicles are going to have less power on that remaining half than the first half. So I would not go all the way back into Antelope Canyon again and do the same trip, because that would be way too risky. And so being aware of how far you can go with your battery is really important. And don't push it. Don't push it until it's drained all the way down to limping back to shore every single time, because you're just gonna decrease the life of your battery eventually. And one way that I believe that's going to be possible is to be using the Axis wing adapters made by eFoilsolutions.com, and I actually have some Axis wing adapters and hoping to try those out, and I'll get back to you with my findings and my tests and my review.